Interesting. Okay.
That's a slate. That's why they slate in movies. So now you know. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the After Bedtime Podcast. It's been a while. We're so grateful to have you guys back listening with us and going on this journey again with us with some amazing fathers. And I got one tonight right in front of me, coming to us from Arizona. My name's Jeremy. In case you're new to it, I'm the president and executive director of the Black American Dad Foundation, host of the After Bedtime Podcast, and I'm with one of my board members, a guy that's been with me for a very long time, since almost the beginning of Bad. He's been such a great friend, a great partner in this, and somebody that shared a similar vision with what we saw with respect to Black fathers and how they are and how amazing they are and the things that they do for their children to not only better the life of themselves, but of course, their kids too as well. So without further ado, I'll let my man Halisi introduce himself. Halisi, say what's up to the people.
Thank you. What's up, people? How you doing? My name is Halisi. I'm the vice president and one of the board members of Black American Dad. So it's so great to be here, located in the lovely Tucson, Arizona. And I've got my 4-year-old daughter here with me. Her name is Amani. I remember right before she was born, I was still on the board with Bad, and I would talk to a lot of the guys just about what is it like to be a father. And now 4 years later, she's sitting here with me, and I got my 6-month-old. He's passed out in the bed right now.
So 2 kids now, 4 years at least have been in. How long have you been a part of Bad?
I want to say 2000. She's 20. She's 2020. Born
Yeah, and it was
21.
even before Amani. This is Amani, everybody. So everybody
Yeah.
can say what's up to Amani as well. Now the show is called After Bedtime, but Amani is still awake, so we allow that every once in a while. The kids will jump onto the podcast with us too because we enjoy that. So that's a part of being dad. Sometimes you got to have your kids in your lap while you're doing stuff too at the same time. So, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be. I
It's
mean,
got it's got to be.
2014 was fun. Like it's
Yeah.
got to be like almost 10 years, like
It's
close
got to.
to, if not,
Yeah.
yeah, it's got
Yeah.
to be around there. You've been a champion for Bad since first time I met you in that coffee shop, and like,
I think that was 2018.
yeah, like it was around
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And yeah, like we just haven't looked back like ever since, and it's just been so great to have you a part of Bad, and then like also seeing you now becoming a dad and like growing into it. It's been an amazing thing. So I'm like super excited for you and your journey, and also like the work that you've done to be able to help out Bad. Now, Halisi will also be hosting with me from time to time in case, like, if Amani needs him or Mateo needs him. He might not be able to make it or he's doing other great things. But also, Halisi does so many other things too. So, I mean, I wanted to open that up to you, Halisi, to kind of let you like kind of talk about what are some of the things that you want to talk about with like the things that you do outside of Bad, of course.
Yeah, outside of Bad. So I'm a lawyer, and so what I do, and one thing that's super cool that I like to do. So I'm on a couple boards, but let me just talk about this compliance thing that I do. Um, I help employers protect themselves, proactively protect themselves from employee lawsuits. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to point out risk compliance areas, and see the images on the employer's face when they
Yeah.
realize they're not in compliance. Because some things are really small. They're like small tweaks, but they can be costly. And
Right.
so I enjoy doing that, and I enjoy the fact that I get to own my time and spend it with her, pick her up from school, and then be with her, and then I can, at the end of the day, come back to my computer and do my work. So trying to find that balance is really what I enjoy, and
Yeah.
trying to be a model, so that her and her brother can have uh, options, whether they want to go into work for someone or they
Yeah.
want to start their own business, and and have their own freedom. So hopefully by the time that they get to their teenage years, there will be more consistency, a lot more motion. But these are the kind of the trial and tribulation times. So
And I think about like dealing with employment law. So, for y'all that are, this is on after bedtime. Traditionally, what we like to do is we talk to dads about their dreams and what they're going for, usually in some level of entrepreneurship, and how they're balancing being dad at the same time while they're pursuing their dreams. So a lot of entrepreneurs support, this podcast, and a lot of people that are business minded and like minded in that regard, like this. And here we have an employment law lawyer, everybody. So this is somebody that is really good to listen to get insight on. And when you have your business, um, and you have employees, if you have contractors, depending upon what state you're in, it has a variant. But uh, Halisi, are you able to operate in different states? Are you able to do things to help out people in different states, or is it just like local to Arizona? Like, what's kind of like the bandwidth of what you're able to do?
Oh yeah, so I'm able to help people all over the country, so in various states. That's the beautiful thing. Get to really interact with people a little bit close up, so I can go to their business, get to interact with them, and help them out. I like the hands on and being able to connect with other people.
Mhm.
During this time, it's been excellent just building relationships with people. You don't realize that you need relationships in order to kind of be in this entrepreneurial lane, because you can take something from your mind and create it, and that's a feat all its own. Needs to be a pat on the back that you develop something
Right.
uh, from your mind. And then, but from that, you still need to make sure that you're getting it in front of the right people. You still need to make sure that you have an offer that is valuable to others. And
Yep.
so trying to make sure that you are uh, providing value to people is a struggle all of its own, because
Right.
you may not have y- the way in which you thought about it in your head may not be the way people receive it.
Right.
So you got to so you might have to make tweaks to it so that the value can actually present itself.
When working with entrepreneurs in different states, obviously, like you work against in different industries, across multiple sectors. ha- what's something that you think is a commonality that entrepreneurs traditionally make a mistake when stepping into a business with and having your W-2s or having a 1099? What's something that you see like common that like, hey, this is something that can really help you out?
Yeah, I think one of the common things is that when you start asking for help for whatever you're doing, there are rules to it. And I think so often we think that when we ask for help, we're just saying, you know what, here, I'm gonna give you some money and get the thing done that I want done. If I need someone to help me uh, reach out to potential clients, that particular help, then that comes with rules to be able to make sure I'm providing them with their wages and whatnot. But there's essentially the laws are going to have rules to it, whether that's meal break rules, whether that is overtime rules, and so we just have to be cognizant of those, because as a small business owner, those what can seem minute can certainly be costly and destroy your business, because we're still, as a small business, we're still trying to raise the capital to make
Yeah.
sure that make sure that we can operate.
Yeah.
That comes through when we do the services, but we got to make sure that we're saving properly, and just having working capital to grow the business.
Yeah. I think that, you know, everybody I think wants to get to a point, whether you are, a sole proprietorship or that's, in business or wants to be in business, where you have multiple employees. How often, or like, can you give us a story of like somebody that you had helped out that was didn't even realize like that the magnitude of what they were doing or the flaws that they were like kind of like carrying around with them that could be so costly to them as they're going
Yeah,
on their
yeah,
business journey?
yeah. I think in as a entrepreneur, what I'm seeing a lot is the construction companies. I'm seeing a lot of the construction companies, and so with construction companies, they might hire day laborers, right? Just for someone for a day, trying to get someone else some money. They're going to help with the trash. They're going to help, um, you know, lay some wood of some sort, and something's that small for a day labor. If you don't pay them properly, regardless of whether they are legal or illegal workers, they still need to be paid. And so there can be a lot of issues that come up when an employer starts asking for ID to to make sure they're authorized to work. But
Right.
so often that comes after they've already started working.
Wow.
And so when you kind of ask for those documents afterwards, then people start to say, "Well, I don't have them." Well, then the difficulty is, well, how do I pay you? How do I pay you if you haven't provided with documentation so that the employer can actually deduct the to make the deductions, the tax deductions and whatnot. And so there are little frictions that come into place. And I was recently talking about this um, with an employer, and that particular issue came up, and she wanted to pay. Ultimately, she wanted to pay but she just didn't have the documents, and so they kept just going doing this back and forth. And but what employers have to realize that they can't actually hold the money. They can't actually hold the money. They need to cut the check, whether that person is illegal, whether they're
So it doesn't matter. You may not be able to receive the tax benefit, but because the work was done, you still have to pay for the labor.
you still got to pay for the labor. You still got to pay
Got
for
it.
the labor, and
So
sometimes
it's
it just
more of a tax thing at that point of like, you may not be able to receive the deduction for on your like expenses, but you still have to pay because that's a whole different legality if you don't pay.
yeah. So you gotta take that money and set it aside. You got to set it aside so that you can ultimately pay the tax man later on.
Yeah.
And so they're just issues that come up, and so those type of issues can destroy a small business.
Yeah. Like, is there a well, I mean, I'll let you kind of talk with that. I want to kind of actually like I want to kind of transition to like you have this business, you work with these clients. It's a seems like it could probably be like at times like very like daunting and like challenging and frustrating and because you're dealing with employers that are either upset usually with something or they have a boatload of problems that they never knew about that you are auditing and revealing to them. So there's a lot of stuff that you're doing that requires a lot of time, that requires a lot of your time. How do you balance being dad too at the same time? You got Amani, who's 4, and Mateo is not even a year old yet. Uh, how do you balance that? Like, what's your schedule kind of like, or what's your strategy with being able to make sure that dad is still present, and dad is still here, and still able to build your business at the same time?
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons why I switched to doing this, is to providing these kind of health checks for businesses because I don't have to do the day to day the day to day HR stuff,
Yeah,
and so that I can go into the business, provide them with a health check, and give them a report, and that actually gives me my time back, and now I'm able to spend time with my daughter and my son, and so it's been an excellent adjustment, um, difficult adjustment, but as far as me getting my time back and me being able to provide value to other businesses, that's been the excellent part.
yeah. What's one of the biggest things that you've learned, whether it's from fatherhood that helped you in business or vice versa, something in business that actually helped you out in fatherhood? What's some of the biggest things that you've learned and been able to take away that have been able to cross over into other aspects of your life?
I mean, I think it's the patience, the
Cool.
patience, whether this is patience with the patience with the children, or patience with business, and those things are going to develop, and I think that there are the inner workings that you have to develop. So you have to develop. You're great at this. You're great at having a pitch, having it ready to go. marketing is excellent. If you audience does not know, Jeremy's marketing is excellent. It's top notch. Get with Jeremy.
Listen, man, I whatever comes to my mind, I just try to dish it out. That's it. I can't say they always work. I can't say that.
but yeah, I mean, I think you just learn. I learn the kind of weaknesses that I do have. Um, and a lot of that even comes from just being in different networking spaces where I'm just speed networking, speed meeting people.
Yeah.
Right. Are you, I guess some things about what you learn. Are you being clear? Right. When you're doing a elevator pitch, do people get it? So you learn that about yourself. Are you being overly shy? I recently signed up for Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a speaking club, and we meet twice a month, and we ultimately train on speaking, and so public speaking, getting up in front and being able to just tell random stories right off the dome.
Good for you for like
Yeah.
putting yourself out there to like get better at that. I think that that's so important in like life in general and business in general. Like if there's something, one, you have to be honest with yourself. If there is something that you are not good at, you say I'm good at marketing. I don't know if I'm necessarily that great at marketing. I know that there are things that I am good at, or like I know like I can do this really well. I can do this really well. And then there's also things where I'm like, no, I'm not very good at this. I don't really know this stuff. Being honest with yourself first and foremost with whatever it is that you are trying to achieve or whatever you're trying to go after, your goal, whatever, whether it's fatherhood, whether it's in your business, you got to be honest with yourself. So you being honest with yourself and being like, hey, you know what? Like it wouldn't hurt to go to this program and do this to work on it. Shout out to Toastmasters. Maybe we can find out a way to see if they can get some people on the bad for that.
Yeah.
Because I think that that's a great idea to be able, because you're right. And for me, it's sales. Your elevator pitch might be the only chance you have to actually close the sale. It might be your only chance to ever even see that person ever again. So I approach it in that way. And it's not necessarily met with a level of urgency, but with a level of precision that gets directly to where I need to get to, with who directly I need to speak to. And a lot of entrepreneurs kind of miss that part. Like they have all the other things, right? They have the infrastructure, they know how the business works because it's their business, right? But
Mhm.
everybody needs sales. Everybody needs a strong elevator pitch. Everybody needs to be qualified to be able to say who, what, when, where, and why in a certain way that it grabs people's attention and they want to know more, right? And if you don't have that, you got to find a way to get that. And any other aspects of your business. If you're not good at accounting, you got to figure that. You got to get somebody else either to help you, or you got to get really good at that. Every aspect of your business that matters. And like, what's something like that I think, like, with fatherhood, like, that you said patience, right? Like patience is something I think every father has to have, right? In some regards, like your child is like gonna test your patience in so many ways, not even necessarily in like the bad ways, like like the rebellious child. I'm not there
Yeah.
yet. My son is 11, but he's getting there. But it's the patience of letting them figure things out on their own.
Let
And
him figure things out.
yeah.
Sometimes she follows me around the house all the time. So she'll follow me around the house, something like that, and I'm just like, oh, or they swarm you at a time where you just like don't want to be swarmed, and you have to like be patient, and you can't just throw them off you. Like, so how do you tell them that like you're just you're swarming me too much? I need a little bit of space without being mean.
Yeah. Like I was thinking about that. My dad used to he would get home from work and we hadn't seen him all day. We'd be like, "Oh, Dad's home," and we would always like wrestle and fight with him. And one of the things he would do is like, first things he would like come in, but he would be directly to his room, close the door, lock it, and be in there for at least 10 minutes before and we'd be standing outside like, Dad, what's going on? What are you doing? Come out, come play. And like, we wouldn't hear anything. We wouldn't hear nothing. And then eventually we would just walk away. But now I understand, like, he needed that time, he needed that space, and then he came out and did. But patience, they love you. Like, and like, from that perspective, like, they just want to be with you. They want to engage with you all the time. So I know what that feels like, where you're like, man, like, leave me alone. Like, what is this? What do you need? But those days, my son, like I said, Cohen's 11. Shout out to Cohen. We love you very much.
After Cohen.
Cohen is changed. Cohen is growing up, and the 5-year-old boy that wanted to follow me around everywhere is not like that no more. Now it's like, now he's, all right, Dad, I'm going to go chill in my room and go talk to my friends, or I'm going to go play video games online with my friends, or I want to go to the park with my friends, or I want to stay the night at my friend's house. Everything is my friends, my cousins, all this stuff, so it goes away. So, having that patience could also be giving you those quality moments. At least I think that you're gonna wish that you still had when they distance themselves from you and you're not as cool anymore. And Imani's coming to you and be like, "All right, Dad, can you get away from me now?" And they're like, "Oh, it's turned."
and that's what kind of being on this entrepreneur journey has allowed, because it's allowed me to spend more time with her, right?
Yeah.
When I was working, so before I had Mateo, when I was working, wanted a second child, really to balance Amani out so she could have someone to play with. However, it was gonna conflict. I knew I wasn't gonna get home until 7. Rose not gonna get home until 7, and so we're both gonna be putting Amani down really late, and so
Yeah.
it just wasn't going to provide that time that I did want to spend with her.
Yeah.
And so needed to make a switch where I could still utilize all my skills, but still take my time back.
Yeah.
And so this is what's been the adjustment. And so I feel blessed to be able to make this switch, and I get my time back, and I don't feel as guilty as when I'm saying give my space, because I've made the adjustment to try to be with her more.
Right.
But I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
I think that's cool that, like, because a lot of time in entrepreneurship, like, you're doing all the work. It's a lot of
Mhm.
time. It's a lot of time away from your family. And there is sometimes where it does, like, call for that in certain types of businesses and ventures that you're trying to pursue. And that's tough, right?
Mhm.
Like, that's a sacrifice that a lot of fathers make. And for you to be in a position to where you're actually seeing where how much your entrepreneurship has given you the freedom to be dad and to be there, I think is what everybody really wants to get to, with that type of freedom, with why you pursue entrepreneurship in the first place.
Yeah.
Um, if there is something at night when it comes to your business, you haven't even mentioned, like, with the name of your business or anything like that, but I'll let you to get to that at the end of it, how people can get in contact with you. But one of the questions I always ask dads is, like, when you're laying in bed at night, and you're looking up at the ceiling and you're thinking about your business, what's that thing right now that you're laying up and thinking about? Like, what is it right now that's keeping you up at night?
Yeah, I mean, what's keeping me up at night is, uh, it's silly. I mean, for the business, it's just lead generation, right? Building the relationships, getting referrals. So those things kind of keep me up at night, making sure that there are enough clients that able to provide value to, um, and making sure that it's like a stream of it, so you can keep moving. So that kind of keeps me up at night, and trying to work in, at the once she goes to bed, then that's when I'll get my workout in.
Yeah. What
I'll get
time is her bedtime too, by the way?
she. I like to get her in bed by 9, and that's already late. And then she
All right.
finagles at 9 o'clock. She'll come in here. She'll need the juice, the bathroom, everything. I'm hungry. Like, and she ends up pushing it out. Sometimes she gets to 10. And at that point, I'm just like, no, like this is ridiculous. You got to go to sleep. Uh, but she's very good at at stretching that time out.
She'll find her ways, as you saw,
Yeah.
guys, earlier
You
on the
saw her,
podcast.
she hasn't even changed yet. Like, she needs to
Yeah.
be changed right now. So if I tell her to go change, she's gonna give pushback. And so, but yeah, I mean, she's still great.
Is the lead generation something that you're focusing on currently right now in your business? Are there other things that you're also focused on?
Yeah, I mean, lead generation is the main thing. And then from there, it's developing systems so that everything can kind of function smoothly.
Mhm.
And so, I think that when it gets to that point of kind of, hey, I need to get better systems in here, I'm probably going to reach out to someone to help develop those, because I think that there are people who are better than me at developing those kind of inner working systems, and it would be a good time to partner. But the initial piece is, can I deliver consistent clients? That way I can share my benefits with other people. And I think partnering is kind of the wave of the future.
Yeah.
With other entrepreneurs, can you partner together? That way everyone's getting their freedom back.
Yeah. Yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
And sometimes in entrepreneurship, it does mean like necessarily like aligning with somebody that can help you out with things that, to help you with whatever your objective is right now in your business. For you, lead generation and retaining clients and, building up that growth. Um, you know, that's a challenge I think that a lot of people have in business is how can I increase my clientele? How can I maintain my clientele? Um, and you don't have to do it alone. I think that that's a good open mindset that you have with it is like, don't necessarily look at that as like a thing that you solely have to do alone. There's a lot of people out there like yourself, and partnering with people like yourself that could potentially help them out with the things that they're doing. So, um, in short, like teamwork makes the dream work. But I want to leave you with this question, because we're coming up on the end of it. Is why is it important for you to build your dream?
It's important because of the freedom. I love it. Just getting a taste of it. Just getting a taste of it, it's been super important because it allows me to spend the time with Amani and Mateo, still, provide value to other small businesses. And so I think those two pieces, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's everything is about freedom. Like
Yeah.
it's this the freedom like is I think the biggest benefit. Obviously, like the financial comes along with it, with the monies and things, but really like being able to get your time back because once you have your time back, like it's endless of what you can do
Mhm.
and spending time with your kids makes it that much better. It's that much sweeter because you put in the work to build it to be able to get it back. So that like kind of wraps it up. But I want to give you some time to be like, if people want to be able to get a hold of you, if they want to be able to talk with you about their businesses, about how to do things like you're doing in employment law space, or anything else that they might actually have an idea if they want to talk to you about bad because you're the vice president, you can reach out to him too as well. Um, how can I get a hold of you? What's the
Yeah.
best way to get
So
with you?
best way to get a hold of me is, I'm on LinkedIn. So there's my LinkedIn profile, Halisi Tambuzi. Workplace Investigators is also has a LinkedIn page, so that's a good way to get a hold of me. My website is wpihr.com. So that's the website to Workplace Investigators. And so, yeah, those are the best ways to get a hold of me.
Awesome, y'all. Well, reach out to him if you have any questions. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the After Bedtime Podcast. If you have any questions about anything, you want to be on the podcast, You want to find a way to connect with Halisi a little bit more, email us at blackamericandad@gmail.com. Subject line it After Bedtime, and then go into a little bit of what you want to know. But other than that, thank you guys so much. It's bedtime now, and we'll see you on the next episode with another great dad. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of After Bedtime, brought to you by the Black American Dad Foundation. I hope that you were just as much inspired as we were listening to another great dad with his amazing dreams and how he's balancing being dad at the same time. If you want to know more about the Black American Dad Foundation, you know a dad that'd be great for the show. You want to ask that dad that was just on some questions about his business or his dreams and how he's doing it. Maybe you want to get a little bit more information. Email us at blackamericandad@gmail.com. Subject line it After Bedtime, and then go into a little bit more of what you want to know. Other than that, thank you again for listening to us, and hopefully you are inspired. Good night, and we'll see you on the next episode where we follow another great Black American dad.